I'm on a quest to find the best climbing gym in New York City, and today I'm at the Manhattan Plaza Health Club. The gym is small with only a couple of rooms, but it's also by far the cheapest gym in New York City at $22 for a day pass. That's like half of what some of the other gyms charge. And on top of that, they have free chalk. So, is this the best value climbing gym in New York City? Watch until the end to find out. And I'll also tell you where I put this gym on my tier list. While I warm up, let's go over some of the strange rules in this gym. First off, you're not really supposed to use the volumes, just the holds that they put on them. The wall also has some built-in features, like pockets, cracks, and arrests. By default, these are all off unless they're specifically marked with some tape. Sometimes they also use a hold for multiple climbs, and they'll mark those with tape as well. The last hold is denoted by a right angle. Another restriction is that you aren't allowed to use adjacent walls or dihedrals unless they have a hold from your climb. So yeah, definitely a lot of rules, and I was a little concerned about dabbing on everything. Another quirk is that the gym only labels climbs up to V2. Beyond that, you have to go up to the front desk and look up the climbs based on the color and location. They also mentioned that the gym is sandbagged, so we'll see how that claim holds up. This green V3 has a big weird hold in the middle. There wasn't really anything to grab, so I just treated it like a sloper, and it was enough to shift my weight over to the right and grab the next hold. The last two moves are pretty big, but the holds are good. I totally misread the beginning of this orange V3. I did this lock off and mantle to reach the next hold, and then I got an alpine knee to free my right hand. Apparently, you're supposed to start with a high toe hook on the triangular hold in the corner. The traverse is tricky because I make this big move into a super stretched position. Then, I have to step down to a foothold that I can't really see. Releasing the left hand while super stretched is also hard, and I really had to rely on my right foot smear to avoid barn dooring. I couldn't reach the last hold from that right foot, so I had to go to the hold on the left, which I definitely didn't reach from the bottom. This felt tricky for a V3, and it was much harder than the last one. I move on to this V4 with kilter holds. This undercling felt awful, so I tried bringing my right foot up and smearing so I could stand up into it, but I still couldn't hold on to it. I tried to skip the undercling with a dynamic move. I'm surprised I'm able to reach the next hold, even if I don't stick it. On my next attempt, I realized I can use the star hold to stand up into the undercling, but even then, the position isn't great. I have to really pull into the undercling and push into the mantle to create opposing forces and move my feet. I wanted to cross to the next hold with my right hand, but I felt like I had to match on the undercling and go with my left hand instead. There are a lot of foot options, but I decided to use the farthest one since it would give me the widest and most stable base. I try to swap hands on the side pull, but it's much harder than I thought, and I get stuck. I worked out a foot sequence for the end, but completely forgot it when I was up there. I was supposed to swap feet and get my left foot on the volume hold, but instead, I stepped through. If my left foot was there, I could bring my right foot to the lower hold in almost a back flag position to make the match easier. I end up bringing my right foot down to match the side pull anyway. I also realized that it was much easier to match the side pull as a Gaston instead of an undercling. In isolation, I could match the last hold from this position, but I felt shaky, so I swapped my right hand to an undercling and foot swapped. And luckily, it was stable enough for the match. Since that last climb took a while to project, I decided to stay at the V4 level and see how many I could send. Next up is the steep red one. It's all in-cut crimps before finishing on a jug ledge around the lip. Unfortunately, my foot slips on the first move. This time, my foot sticks and the move isn't so bad. Overall, I'm not a fan of this climb since it feels like a crimp ladder. I move on to this blue V4. This one is also all in-cut crimps, but the movement is a lot more interesting. Right off the bat, I'd flip my left hand on the start hold to a pinch so I can get my left foot up and make the next move. I also like the sequence where I go to a Gaston, fall into the left hand crimp, and then cross over and unwind. There's also this fun sequence where you walk your feet over the right and get a deep back flag to move your left hand. I didn't know what I was going to do for the first move of this pink V4, but I instinctively flipped my left hand to a pinch while grabbing the good sloper on the right. There's a jug on the bottom of the volume to help walk your feet over the right. Then, you have to rock over it and mantle. The small sloper is worse than I thought it would be, so I had to full crimp it. But then, I can get my left foot up and stand up for the very delicate ending. I wasn't confident in the beta, so I'm really happy I flashed this one. This orange V4 starts with good slopers. I'm not sure which foot to use, but I settle on the right one. I get a high left foot, and it feels like I'm doing a yoga pose on the wall. This left sloper is a lot worse than I thought it would be, and I can't figure out how to shift my weight over. I realized the next two holds are jugs, so I just tried to jump for it. The move feels pretty good, but I just didn't commit. This time, I commit to yeeting myself, and it works out. And then, there's a traverse on a sloper before finishing on the top edge. The start of this blue V4 was tricky, so I worked it off camera. Most of the holds are good pockets and arrettes. Originally, I was trying to go up to the next pocket with my right hand, but I found that if I go with my left hand, I could bump it to a crimp undercling. From there, the climb is pretty straightforward. Next up is another blue V4. I find this toe hook on the arete that locks me into position despite losing my right foot. The problem is that releasing the toe hook is really hard because I'm going to swing all the way to the right. But luckily, I'm just barely able to hold on. I'm not really sure what the other foot options are to do that move. A foot swap would leave me with no counter pressure through the feet, and I think you'd need crazy mobility for a high left heel hook. I move on to this orange V4 that's all jugs on a roof. The climb is pretty straightforward until the last couple of moves. The toe hook feels really bad, so I'm not really sure how to get to the next hold. I jump for the jug around the lip, but don't get deep enough, which is unfortunately a common problem in my life. This time, I just skip the pocket and I'm able to yeet myself to the jug. The ending was a little trickier than I thought, but I'm able to put it in a high heel and rock over it. Next up is this black V4. All of the holds were surprisingly good, so I thought it was a bit softer than the other V4s. The ending is the hardest part. I should have bumped my left hand before bringing my feet over. It made the bump more tensiony and dynamic than it had to be. I also had no idea what this giant line of black tape meant. I just assumed the black hold on the left was off, so I went straight up to the finish hold, which was slopier than I thought. I had to really position myself under it for the match. I move on to this purple V4 that starts in the corner. It's an absolute battle to get over to the right. Originally, I thought I could just go dynamically to the next pinch, but it seemed kind of far from this position. So I get my left foot on the start hold and mantle. I'm able to stand up and reach the next hold, but releasing the left foot is hard, and I fire off. This time, I found some easier beta in the beginning with a left hand mantle on the start hold. Instead of matching on the next hold, I cross over with my left hand and turn my right hand into an undercling. This lets me shift my weight to the right onto my remaining limbs, which makes it much easier to fight the barn door from releasing my left foot. From there, the climb is pretty simple with good holds. Next up is the last V4 in the gym, this orange slabby guy. This first slipper is really bad. I struggle a lot, but eventually I'm able to bring my right foot in and swap feet. I get my left foot onto the next hold, but the problem is that all my weight is on my right hand. I thought I'd be able to just release my hand and basically flag it to the right so I can get my left foot out, but it felt impossible. I tried to match, but that position was absolute booty cheeks. I tried it a lot off camera, but never figured out the move. The gym was about to close, so I decided to try a V5 just to see what it's like. This pink one starts on a couple of in-cut crimps. I get a high foot and go to the sloper. The position feels pretty good, but then I have no idea how to release my right hand without just flying off the wall. I try to swap feet, but that doesn't work. Looking back at it, maybe I could have toe hooked the starting undercling, but I have no idea if I'd be tall enough to match off that. But after my session, what do I think about the Manhattan Plaza Health Club climbing gym? First, let's talk about their training tools. They have fingerboards and canvas boards, and I think I saw some portable edges you could add weight to for block pulls. Unfortunately, they don't have a gym with any lifting equipment. The actual health club does, but it's separate and you'd have to pay more money to use it. They also don't have a spray wall or any commercial boards, which I think could definitely help a gym this small. Next, I want to talk about their route setting. They definitely emphasize traditional climbing, although I did see one dyno. Some of the climbs had fun sequences, but the setting didn't really stick out to me that much. I noticed that in terms of techniques, they really emphasize mantles, but that might just be due to the more vertical wall angles in the gym. It would be cool to see more heel hooks and toe hooks. In terms of grading, I say they're about 1 V grade stiffer than most other gyms. They're probably the second stiffest gym in New York City, behind Brooklyn Boulders. I was able to do all but 1 V4 here, but there were plenty I couldn't even touch at Brooklyn Boulders. But because of the small size, meh setting, and lack of training tools, I'd have to put this gym in C tier. If this is your home gym, I think you'd struggle to become a well-rounded climber. I think you'd be missing out on fundamental movement skills and techniques. You'd also be completely missing out on competition-style climbing if that's your thing. But I will say that this is definitely the most affordable gym in the city. A membership only costs $49 a month, which is about a third of the price of Vital, Movement, or Central Rock Gym. But what do you think of this gym? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you'd like to see more New York City climbing gym reviews, check out this playlist right over here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!